So we're going to go over Greek articles. So those of you who might be familiar with Latin will notice the severe lack of articles in Latin. English has the. This is the definite article. Greek has multiple forms of the depending on number, gender, and case. So unlike nouns in Greek, there is only one single declension for the article. We're not going to find first declension, second declension, third declension articles. We're only going to find articles changing based on number, gender, and case. And we must have agreement with the article and its noun. So first we'll do our masculine. Masculine, we'll do singular and plural, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. Notice a lack of vocative. We can use this particle O as a placeholder for the vocative, but it's not technically an article. So our masculine singular is going to be ho. And then we have to, toe. Note the iota subscript. Tone. And then in the plural, we have hoi, tone, tois, and tous. You will notice that these are all the same endings as second declension masculine nouns. Also, they all have this tau, right? Except for the nominative. There is no tau beginning. Instead, we have a rough breathing mark. So our feminine, we're going to have singular and plural again. We're going to have etas everywhere. Hey, tes, whoops, that's a circumflex. We're going to have te, note the iota subscript again, and tain. In the plural, we're going to leave the etas behind and we're going to switch to alphas. Hi. Nope, there's no alpha here. Tone, tis, and tas. So notice in the singular we've got a bunch of etas. In the plural we've got a bunch of alphas. Now, our first declension nouns fall into different categories and we'll have etas or alphas depending on the category that it's in, and it's a phonetic thing going on and it changes from dialect to dialect, but we're doing Attic Greek. So in Attic Greek we have etas and alphas exchanging. However, these are always what the articles look like. They are always going to have etas in the singular and the alphas in the plural. That is never going to change in Attic Greek. Also notice the endings are reflective of the first declension endings and the genitive plural is the same. So then we have our neuter ones. Singular and plural. In this case, we get a tau. Notice also back to the feminine. There is no tau in front of the nominative. There is a tau in the neuter. So it's going to be toe, to, toe. And notice the pronunciation with the nominative and the dative is the same. And that's because I'm a speaker of English. And trying to get the difference between the two isn't really going to be audible to an English ear. And then we have toe. Notice, just like in our nouns, the article is the same. Nominative and accusative is the same. And then we have ta, tone. We get that repetition. Tone is genitive plural across the board. Then we have tois. And then, you guessed it, ta, because with neuter, Nominative and accusative are the same. The singular is the same, and then the plural. We have that same repetition. Also, notice we have the same form for the genitive and dative in the neuter and the masculine. You will notice that we also have that in our first declension nouns. So when you decline agros and dendron, their forms are different in nominative and accusative, but in the genitive and dative, it is the same. And it is these endings, these first declension endings, that exist. So the article is gonna help us remember our forms. It's a lot to memorize, but you're gonna start to see repetition and it's gonna start to make sense. And then you're gonna learn the third declension and everything's gonna fall apart for a moment. But first and second declension are going to make sense, and we will tackle the third declension when we get there.